here's the big question. You're interested in value investing and valuing and evaluating businesses on a deep level, but you don't know how, even after researching for hours, probably dozens of hours, hundreds of hours on the internet, and because nobody else shows you how to do it. This podcast has all those answers and much more about value investing in finance. My name is Jason Rivera. Welcome to Value Investing in Your Car. Hey, Jason here. In this episode of Value Investing in Your Car, we are now in I have two kind of separate offices. One I use in my new home that is more for everyday use, and this office right here is for making videos, interacting with clients, stuff like that. First thing you notice is the camera should be a lot clearer. Upgraded my camera, got a Logitech C920 HD camera, I think is what it is. Took up to my computer because apparently, again, if you didn't see the last couple of videos in this series, or you're listening to this as a podcast, the brand new computer I got had a terrible camera, just awful. Also, sorry about the blue reflection on the lenses. I'm making this at night, and I can't really get rid of that. I don't know how to get rid of that when it's at night. During the day, I just go outside and it's fine, but at night when I'm in my house, I don't know what the reflection is. If you know how to get rid of this, please let me know. So, let's get to it. Before we get to what we're talking about today, which is the 10 best things I learned from all year, I want to remind you this is now available as a podcast for free anywhere in the world on all major platforms. iTunes, SoundCloud, Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. All major platforms. You can listen to this podcast anywhere in the world for free. So, since we're coming up to the end of the year here, I wanted to talk about some of the best things I've learned from all year, because I learn an enormous amount. I learn extremely fast. I learn a lot, all these kind of things. So I wanted to kind of recap some of the best things I learned all year to help you reach your goals next year faster with whatever they are: finance, value investing, businesses, family, whatever they are. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, is 10 best things I learned from all year. These aren't necessarily in any order, and I have the sheet right here. Normally I don't like to read off scripts because I suck at it, but I didn't want to forget any of these. So these aren't in any particular order. All of them are fantastic, and at the end I'll probably tell you the single best thing I learned from all year, but other than that, they're not really in any particular order. So without further ado, here are the best things I learned from. These aren't necessarily individual books, or these are individual books, individual resources. These aren't lessons learned. These are individual resources you can learn from, that I've learned from this year. First off is Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography. This I talked about in one of the early episodes of Value Investing in Your Car earlier this year. It's one of the single best autobiographies I've ever read. I'm not a big fan of autobiographies because they're written by the person themselves, so they usually leave out some of the quote-unquote bad stuff or not good stuff. And I want to hear the whole story. I want to hear how the struggles, the failures, the triumphs that somebody has in their life on the way up. And this book does that. It talks about the good and the bad and the ugly, and all the way up from his childhood and his being raised in Austria with his brother and his mom and dad, all the way up to him becoming the governor of California, cheating on his wife, what that did to his relationship with his wife and his kids, and his family members, his extended family members, all the way up to him building his real estate empire, his movies, his real estate empire that is now worth, I think, $400 million plus. And I talked about something I didn't know before going into the book. Actually, I think I learned it right before getting the book, which is one of the reasons I read it. is I didn't know before he was a movie star that he was already independently wealthy because of his real estate investments. So, fantastic book, talks about investments, how to work hard, perseverance, struggles that he had, all this kind of stuff. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic book. Next up, number 2, Titan, the biography of John D. Rockefeller. This is one of the single best pieces or things I've ever learned from, just period. It's a fantastic look at the richest person in modern world history. When adjusting for inflation, he was worth at his height about $660 billion. And that's after giving away the equivalent of hundreds of billions of dollars. So at his height, he was worth what Jeff Bezos is worth, about $120 million. So 4-5 times what Jeff Bezos was worth now, John D. Rockefeller was worth after giving away the equivalent of hundreds of billions of dollars. It talks about his, again, this is a biography this time. It talks about his life from his childhood, actually before he was born. Sorry, I'm doing this with my glasses. The blue light is driving me nuts. It talks about, I think, a couple generations, if memory serves me right, before he was born, all the way up to a couple generations after he died. What he built, how he built it, how he built most of the industry of the oil industry, how he became who he became, the decisions that went behind some of the business decisions, good, bad, ugly, all that kind of stuff. Absolutely fantastic book. Again, one of the best single pieces or resources I've ever learned from. And I've talked about, I think, most of these. Definitely Total Recall, definitely Titan, definitely the next one, and a couple others in the Value Investing in Your Car series. So make sure to go back and watch these episodes if you want to see kind of more in-depth information about them. So I'm going to move on to number 3, The Men Who Built America. This is, again, another fantastic resource. You can get this for free if you're in the United States. You can watch all the episodes for free if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber. Again, I don't, like I said in the episode, which was a few weeks ago at this point, as I'm recording this, I'm not sure how it works outside the U.S., but if you're in the U.S., you can get this entire series for free. Fantastic. Again, chronicles the rise of John D. Rockefeller, Cornelius Vanderbilt, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, J.P. Morgan, and all these guys, Nikola Tesla, to a lesser extent, Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison. Chronicles the rise of all these guys and how they literally built the entire modern world, not just the modern America, the entire modern world, and how they started shaping it. Ultra fascinating, again, coming from a historical finance perspective, and somebody like me who, and I'm assuming you, who wants to build great things. Seeing what these guys did to build great things literally out of nothing was amazing. Again, this is what I talked about in the Value Investing in Your Car series, so make sure to either go listen to that episode as a podcast or to watch that episode if you want more in-depth information about it. Number 4, The Upstarts. Fantastic, again, but for different reasons. This is more of a modern look on how Airbnb and Uber got started, the problems they had when they were getting started, the regulations they had when they were getting problems when they were getting started and still do, all the things they kind of went through to get to where they are now. And both of them, Uber is getting ready to go public next year, and it's just kind of amazing to see the rise of modern companies that are, again, changing the world. There's a stat in the book, and I don't remember the exact number, or the exact numbers, but the stat is something like Airbnb has access to more hotel units in terms of doors available at any given time than all of the hotels in the world combined. It's something insane like that. And these companies are now worth billions, or in the case of Uber, hundreds of billions when they go public. And again, different transformation, different rules. Actually, these Titan, The Men Who Built America, and the Upstarts are very kind of similar, even though those other two are older, because all these kind of people and companies started from nothing and built empires that changed the entire world. John D Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, those guys did that. Airbnb and Uber have done the same thing. Fantastic book, highly recommend it. Again, I believe I talked about this in the one of the earlier episodes, so make sure to either listen to, or I believe I did a big book review or a review of all these first 4 on the Value Investing in Your Car series, so make sure to go either listen or watch those episodes if you want more in-depth information about each of these individual ones. This next one, or the next couple ones, I did not talk about on the blog at all. So I've been learning enormous amount about marketing this year. Learned a lot about it last year. Learned a lot about it the year before. I learned even more this year. Why? To help, like I explained one time on the blog, is to help you better. If I'm not presenting these services and programs and information as good as I could, I'm losing out not only as you as a customer, but also helping you out as well. Because I truly believe all the content we produce is an enormous help to you and the others that watch or listen to these podcast episodes and read the blog and watch our videos, stuff like that. So the next one I learned the most from is Piranha Marketing with Joe Polish and Tim Paulson, I think, is the other author. About different marketing techniques, how to build what they call an easy, lucrative, and fun business, which is essentially running kind of all the back end stuff on automations, which I'm into in my marketing business. That's another reason I'm learning this, because of me and my brother and my team started a marketing business this year. Officially started it this year. We've been doing marketing off and on, obviously, for years with clients and on the blog and stuff, but we officially kind of started our marketing company this year. Automating a lot of stuff, servicing your clients better than anyone else, giving a ton of value to your clients, helping them reach their goals and dreams, and helping them service their clients better. All these kind of things are in this book. And again, if you're into marketing at all, if you have a business, I highly recommend this book. It's normally, I think, like a $50 or $60 mini course audiobook program online, but if you have Amazon Audible, you can get it for 1 credit, and it's well worth that 1 credit. It's more than worth that 1 credit. I've actually listened to it twice this year. That's how good it is. And if you're interested in marketing services, let me know, email me, contact me somehow, and I would love to help you. Me and my team and my brother would love to help you market your business and help more people. The next one is along the same lines. It's 10X Talk podcast by Joe Polish and Dan Sullivan. So I already talked a little bit about Joe Polish. Dan Sullivan, it talks a lot about unique ability, which again I've talked about on the blog. I didn't talk about this specifically, but I've talked about unique ability on the blog is essentially doing what you do and what you're great at, and delegating or eliminating the rest, so you can focus on what you are great at to help more and more and more people without literally going crazy because you're working 80 to 100-hour weeks all the time. Again, fantastic. I've spent a lot of this year learning about marketing, learning about how to delegate better, learning about how to become a better leader, these kinds of things. And you probably see a theme in these, and that's for a reason. I learn in kind of batches, where I think I need to be learning, where I think I need to be improving, And this is another one. I need to delegate more. I need to delegate better, not only because I have a team around me that can help me and do great stuff, but also because that frees me up to do stuff like this, to service clients more, to service clients even better than we already do, to do more webinars for you, stuff like that. So it just opens you up to helping more people and doing more great things, and of course making more money along the way, which is, I'm assuming, all of our goals. This one I talked about at the very end of last year. Read it twice last year. I think I read it at least one more time this year, if not 2 times. And I definitely talked about this in the, I think it was one of the early episodes of Value Investing in Your Car series. Extreme ownership. Again, leadership, discipline, all this kind of stuff I've been learning an enormous amount about. I can't say enough about this book. All I'm going to tell you is, again, I've read it 3 or 4 times at this point in the last year and a half. Fantastic book on leadership, how to overcome obstacles, delegating team members, taking responsibility for things that go wrong under your kind of command. Again, I've talked about it several times on the blog, and again, I've read it 3 or 4 times in the last year and a half. If you want more information on this book and why it's so fantastic, go back and watch the previous episode or listen to the previous episode. Next one, high output management. Again, leadership, management, delegation, how to think about problems strategically, all this kind of stuff. This by Intel, I can't remember if he's founder, Intel CEO, former Intel CEO, Andy Grove. I've heard about this book for years. I've read his other book, Only the Paranoid Survive, which is more about competitive advantages and kind of thinking strategically as a manager. This one is mostly about management, how to become a great manager, how to get the most from your team, all this kind of stuff. Amazing, amazing book for anyone who's in a leadership position or is going to be in a leadership position, running your own company, running your own business, running your own division, running your own whatever. For me, this helped when the next one, I helped coach my daughter's soccer team this year. I'll help with that kind of stuff. Helps you in many different aspects of your life, how to be a better person, how to be a better spouse, how to be a better parent, all these kind of things. Cannot recommend the book enough. Again, as with all the other resources on here, cannot recommend it enough. So, next one, we're at number 9 now. The soccer team I helped coach. So, my oldest daughter is 8 years old. She loves soccer. I go to all her practices, all her games. And a couple of my buddies were coaching their kids this year on the younger team, 5 and 6 year olds, and my daughter's age group team, which is 7 and 9 year olds. Told them, if you need any help, let me know. I'd love to help. I know quite a bit about soccer, and I played sports all of my life growing up, so I thought I could help a little bit. Turns out, although I do believe I help them, I was an assistant coach, I do believe I help them. I think I'd learned more from the other coaches and the kids as well about patience, how to teach better, how to teach subjects slightly differently in different ways so people understand exactly what you're talking about, how to focus. Because if you're dealing with 5 and 6 year olds or 7 and 9 year olds, focus is an extremely hard concept. Just an enormous amount about helping and seeing others and helping others grow. The enormous growth that both age groups of kids from the first practice to the last game was incredible. Incredible to see. Hard to explain, incredible to see. And my daughter's team, the 7 and 9 year olds, actually won their league championship. Which was, again, amazing. Somebody who played sports growing up is super competitive, loves helping other people. Seeing the kids grow and win a championship together was amazing. I was honored to help them. Hopefully I will help them again next year or next season, which starts up in January or February. But if you have kids, if you have the ability to help others, which I have coached for a while. I've coached you, some of you out there. I've coached other people out there on value vesting and other stuff like that. Coaching is an amazing way to learn, not only to help people, but to learn more yourself and to get some self kind of satisfaction for yourself. It's amazing to see people grow and see the kind of light bulb, like, ooh, did you realize what you just said, or did you realize what you just did? It's frankly, it's amazing to see that kind of stuff, and I highly recommend, if you have the ability, even if you don't think you have the ability to do it, not only, again, because you'll help people, but you'll learn an enormous amount along the way, and you'll help them, and you'll help yourself. So the last one, number 10 of the top 10 things I learned from this year is clients. You, especially, I've been doing this for 12 plus years now. You think you know what people want and what they want to learn and what they need to learn. And then you actually build a course, which we did earlier this year, multiple courses, multiple programs. And you think you do a fantastic job. You put 100% effort into it, dozens of hours, whatever. And you still get clients in there, and you're like, and they're asking a ton of questions about the same thing. I'm like, oh, I should have talked better about this, obviously. I should have talked differently about this. I should have presented different information. I should have not brought this up at all. I should have brought this up more. I would have never thought they had this problem because I didn't have this problem. Here's a different way to kind of put the problem that they didn't understand. Again, learning, helping others is amazing. Of course, I love doing it. I do it every day. There's a selfish aspect to it, though, as well, is because there's studies done that if you teach somebody to do something, you retain 90% of the information. So you learn a lot more, a lot faster. Versus, for example, when you read something, you supposedly only retain 10% of the information unless you take notes or something like that. It's just, again, amazing to see different aspects of something. Again, slightly different tweaks. This is a problem. This isn't a problem. I understand this. I don't understand this. Why don't you understand this? How can I help you understand it? Which makes you think, as the coach, again, different ways to kind of put things slightly differently. Maybe you should explain something just completely better, and maybe you should not talk about it at all. It's just amazing learning experience, not only for them, but for you as well. And again, I love coaching. I've been doing it for a couple of years now. I love helping others, but again, you learn an enormous amount if you do it as well. And that's why I recommend pretty much everybody coach to some degree, some kind of skill or knowledge or mindset or whatever that you have. Because again, it's amazing. Amazing for them, amazing for you as learning experience, amazing for you to become a better teacher, better person, more patient, all this kind of stuff. So if I had to pick one of these things that was the absolute best that I learned from all year, it would probably be Titan. Book, again, was one of the best single things I've ever learned from. Phenomenal. I want to build something great that helps literally millions and billions of people all over the world. To do that, I have to build companies or a company or companies that produce an enormous amount of revenue and profits. So I'm a big believer in studying other people who have done great things, even if they're not necessarily what you are envisioning, but similar kind of great things. And I have big visions, big dreams of helping as many people as I possibly can, and to do that requires enormous capital. So why not study the modern person who has built the greatest amount of capital and wealth in the modern world, literally changed how the modern world was built, lit the entire world with kerosene, then helped transform transform transportation when Henry Ford used gasoline which everybody thought was a useless byproduct at that time, in his combustion engines to help people that we still, 100 years later, people are still using gasoline cars, and I think 90% plus of their vehicles to get from point A to point B. Same thing with planes. I think it's slightly different, but it's built out of oil. To kind of see that foresight, transformation, vision, strategic thinking, whatever you want to call it, it's pretty phenomenal stuff. So if I had to pick one thing, that would be it. I recommend all these resources, obviously. The 10 best things I've learned from in the last year, I recommend them all. But if I had to pick one, it'd be Titan. So I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry it's a little bit longer than normal, but it's kind of a year-end thing I wanted to do for you to help maybe get some books on your list, some resources on your list for Christmas, New Year's, to help you go in the next year strong, with a different mindset, with whatever, maybe just fun to read, whatever it is. I hope this helped. Make sure if you watch this on anywhere, YouTube, the blog, wherever, like, share, comment, subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the bell so you're notified anytime I'm releasing a new video, and releasing new videos all the time. If you're listening on the podcast, again, free anywhere in the world on all major platforms. Make sure to like, love, share, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. As well. Thanks for watching. I would love to know some of the best things you learned from this year. Let me know in the comments below. I answer all the comments myself. And I'm always learning. So if you have something you think I should be learning from, if you learned from something that was absolutely amazing, let me know in the comments below, and I'd probably add it to my my ever-growing to read, to watch, to learn from resource pile. So thanks for watching again. Have a great day. Talk soon. Bye.